Being a Christian is the only faith in which you're actually free, in which you're actually saved from yourself. Every other religion, it's all about you and your own efforts. Whereas in Christianity, following Jesus is all about him and his efforts that he's done for us on the cross, and how his efforts are sufficient for us. And so this time really just shows me that, and I'm just so grateful that I can just rest in him. So this is, coronavirus pandemic. How do you feel about the masks?
My elementary school is actually called Corona.
Awkward.
Elementary school. So my friends have just been making all sorts of jokes about it. I think it's a very serious thing. It's going to test the compassion in our community, because everyone below the boomer generation, it's going to test their type of responsibility that they maintain, that they continue to have for their older family members, their older friends, the older members of the community.
That's so true.
I really feel like people would take it more seriously if it affected everyone equally. But because it's not me, because it's not us, then
yeah,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, so true. I hope
Maybe
my camera's picking up.
Maybe that's an unfortunate part of
Maybe bring it closer.
Being human is self-interest is
very much a thing.
It's it's honestly how we all live.
Yeah. We don't see it. This is something we don't see, but it's affecting everyone. It's just so interesting. It's almost, for me, it's just a manifestation of kind of the sickness that's in people's heart, and how we do tend to not care about each other, and yet at the same time, everything we do affects someone else, regardless.
Yeah.
And I feel like this virus shows that. Every little move, how they're saying, don't touch this, don't do that, put sanitizer. Every little wrong move we make can affect anyone. It's just wow. But it's already been like that. Yeah. Even if it was in the form of a virus, even our actions affect people every day.
That's true.
So let me ask you, what, in what ways has this situation affected you personally, do you feel like?
It has made me realize the many ways in which I'm privileged. Because all I can complain about is missing out on the opportunity to be in Brazil.
Yeah.
And some lost opportunity cost, with time and with being able, having a job, getting work experience at this time.
Yeah.
And some financial loss, but I'm not someone who's trying to support a family, thinking about how I'm gonna get money on the table. I'm thinking about sick parents or being a sick parent who has to be really fearful for this disease or this virus.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a home with parents who love me to go to.
It's a blessing.
They're not gonna ask me to pay rent.
Right.
So.
It's a blessing. Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Huh. That's a good point. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. That's part of why I felt strange, in a way, complaining to Fulbright, because, I didn't feel comfortable doing it at first, because this opportunity is something that many people don't have, just to get an all expense paid trip to a completely different country.
Yeah, it's so true.
By your government. And you didn't really have to work for it. And if you worked maybe 2 weeks.
So yeah.
I didn't.
Very true.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm grateful. I'm looking forward to all the things that will come out of it, because it's not going to be all negative.
Yeah. That's true. There's always a positive side to look at. Very true. I think like for me, yeah, I mean, I would say pretty much all the same things. It's also just, I think, I think it also has just shown me how patient God is with us, and I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible, and I know that I'm not surprised about this epidemic or pandemic or whatever it's called, because it's already written in the Bible that it would happen. And the Bible says that when Jesus comes back, or right before he comes back, we'll know, because there will be pestilence in the air, and there will be, sickness and death and war, and all these things are happening all at the same time. But it shows me how patient God is, and that he's using these things to draw us closer to him. And to
United is paging for the following passenger, William Duplack. If you are in the gate area, please make your way to F57 for an important message.
Where you at, William?
Duplack.
You ain't getting away with nothing, William Duplack. So, but yeah, it just also just showed me, how gracious and patient God is with us, and that he's using things like this to draw us closer to him, and to give us kind of like, hey, I'm coming back soon, like, get it together, like, just things like that. And the fact that, like, he's using this in order to put us in alone time, to isolate us so that we can hear his voice. Just stuff like that. I'm just like, wow, like, I see. So I'm not surprised by any of this, and I know that he's just using it for his glory. I'm not saying he started it. I'm not saying he put this virus in the world, but he always uses things for his glory. Even the things that the devil means for the bad, he means for good. So, it's just a matter of trusting him and taking advantage of this time to just get to know him more, because he's literally right around the corner. And so, that was another thing that really hit home for me. Like, Taylor, if Jesus were to come back right now, would you be ready? And just like counting all the times where I wasn't available to speak his name, where I was available, just kind of like thinking back over those times and being encouraged that I do have more time, and that I can still speak his name as much as I can before it's too late, But yeah, so I was just thinking about that a lot. What had happened was, I got deported from Brazil, and it's because of this doggone coronavirus. Basically, the Brazilian Fulbright Commission, basically they said, you know what, we're done. We're canceling everyone's grants. Everyone go back home. So essentially, because Fulbright had canceled my grant, my visa became invalid. And if I were to stay any longer, I would have been illegal in the country. And so I had to pack up everything and get myself going. So that's what happened. And it was a very, very stressful weekend for me, which is why you guys did not get a video 2 Fridays ago, because I was just very stressed, and I was going through a lot, and I had that allergic reaction on my face. It just all wasn't going well. And so and I was trying to sell all the apartment furniture that I had just bought. I was trying to sell it again, and I had to say goodbye to everyone I had just made friends with. Had to close out some accounts that I had just opened. All this kind of stuff that, like, I had just done, I had to basically undo. And so it was just a very rushed, stressful weekend for me. Now, it is kind of it's a stressful situation for a lot of us who, this was our job. This was all of our job, and we had lost it. and it was because of the fact that our grant was discontinued. And yeah, like Fulbright is going to pay us a little bit more, but you know, a lot of us gave up a lot of our livelihood for this opportunity. And so for a lot of my colleagues, there was 80 of us who went to Brazil. But Fulbright is all over the world. It's an international program. It's all over the world. So Fulbright students from all over the world were losing their grants. But I can speak for the 80 of us in Brazil. You know, a lot of us didn't necessarily have a place to come back to when we got deported. We didn't have an alternative source of income. I landed 2 days ago, and you know, we're keeping on with life. I'm on a walk. It's a beautiful spring day, and you know, I'm very grateful to know that to live is Christ and to die is gain. And so what that means is, like, if I live on this earth, you know, then my life is just for Jesus and to share his love with other people. And if I die, that means I get to be with him. So, you know, I don't have to be in despair at times like this. And I would just hope that other people would get to experience that same hope that I have. Let me turn around. Gosh, it's so liberating. And I know that I don't have anything to worry about. Of course, like, this situation is annoying, but I'm not discouraged. And so I really just would hope that that's what people can take away from this situation, and that Christ is coming back, and that's wonderful news for those of us who know him. And for those of us who don't, and who choose to be on the fence about him, or who choose to reject him, or who choose just not to care, oh my gosh, I pray that you would reconsider, because the time is coming. He's going to come back and he's going to sweep up his church. You don't want to be left here. You know? You don't want to be left here. I think even though this world has so many different beliefs and so many religions and so many faiths, but I guarantee you that Jesus is the only God. He's the only God, period. But also, he is the only God who came down to us, who came down to live our life, who came to live the life of a human being struggling, dealing with temptations, you know, dealing with people who got on his nerves, dealing with loss and struggle, and he still came out on top. But he did all that to show us that we don't have to try to do all these formulas and things to get to him. All we have to do is say yes. Just say yes to him. We just have to believe in our heart and in our mind and our spirit and comply with everything that he says, because he wants the best for us. But he's so patient, because there's some times when we don't comply, but he just comes back over and over again pursuing us. And so I'm just very grateful to be serving a Lord who's like that. And I'm telling you, being a Christian is the only faith in which you're actually free, in which you're actually saved from yourself. Every other religion, it's all about you and your own efforts. Whereas in Christianity, following Jesus is all about him and his efforts that he's done for us on the cross, and how his efforts are sufficient for us. And so this time really just shows me that, and I'm just so grateful that I can just rest in him. I can just rest. If you have any other questions about being a Christian, or about Jesus, or about the Bible, please let me know. I'm very open to those conversations with anyone at all. Anyone at all. And those of my friends who aren't Christians know that I still am loving on them, and I still, you know, we all family, okay? We all came from Adam and Eve. But be encouraged, fam. Thank you again for watching The Dialect. Have a good day.